Hey guys, it's Jessica, and I am going to share a super quick and easy card to make for Thanksgiving, which is great since it's the day before Thanksgiving. So if you're in a pinch and you haven't made any cards and you want to, this is definitely one that you can make fairly quickly using whatever supplies that you have. You can use any thank you sentiment that you might have, or thankful, any kind of combination. This particular set that I used is great because you can use so many different variations, from Thanksgiving to thankful, thank you. There's so many possibilities. So this set from Honeybee Stamps is amazing for the cards like this, just to say whatever you needed to say. So I picked the thank and the full and for you. There's lots of tiny little words that you can use to create sentiments that work for whatever your occasion is. And in this case, I am actually making a Thanksgiving card, so this worked out perfect. So I'm just using my mini MISTI to get things lined up. And at the beginning there, I did cut my piece of white cardstock using a stitched rectangle die from Lawn Fawn. And then now I'm just using my mini MISTI with some black Memento Tuxedo black ink to stamp my sentiment. So that's what I'm doing first, is the sentiment. Then I'll come back in with the flower from Newton's Nook, or sorry, not a flower, a leaf from Newton's Nook. And then that'll kind of tie the whole card together for that Thanksgiving vibe. So obviously the awesome thing about the MISTI is that you can stamp repeatedly in case you don't get clear images the first time through, and I am not very good at getting clear, crisp images the first time I do it. So this has been a lifesaver for me. I really enjoy having the MISTI and being able to get things lined up perfectly. I just cannot for the life of me do it with an acrylic block. I don't know. I don't know. I just am not that talented. Okay, so I did the full first just because I wanted to make sure I had enough room for it. I didn't want to put both of them down at the same time just because I wanted to make sure that the scripty nature of the font lined up just right and they weren't too close or too far away. I didn't want the letters to not be touching. I wanted it to look like one handwritten word, instead of, having thank and then full being separate. So I really like that you're able to combine those two together to make this thankful word. So again, I just stamped it a couple times using my Memento Tuxedo black ink, and I'm using a baby wipe to clean off my stamp. Basically what I did with my flower, good grief, why do I keep saying that? My leaf, it's a leaf, guys. What I did with my leaf is I used a piece of scrap paper, and I actually stamped it once on the scrap paper and then stamped it on my project just so that I could get a kind of faded look. I had tried with some of my Hero Arts shadow inks to get the right color previously when I tried to make these cards, or this card, and it just didn't turn out quite right. The color was a little more brown. It was like kind of a warm gray, and I wanted more of a cool gray, and I didn't happen to have one. So it worked out really well. You'll see in just a second what I do. I was having some trouble getting the For You lined up right. Those pieces are tiny, so sometimes they're a little difficult to get exactly where you want them. But in the end, it worked out. So the story behind this card is that I am the cheer director for a youth cheerleading and football program, and it's the very end of the season right now, and we actually had our banquet this past weekend for all of the cheerleaders, and I actually made one of these cards for each of my cheer coaches, just so that I had something to give them to say thank you for all their hard work during the season. And so I actually made 10 of these, not including this one. I made 10 of this card, so that shows you how easy it is to mass produce it, which is nice because you still can have that handmade feel, and people will know that you took the time to make something for them, but it doesn't take you 12 years to make it, so that's always a plus in my book. So you can see there what I was talking about earlier, where I went ahead and stamped it on a piece of scrap paper first, which was actually my schedule for the classes I teach at Joann. And then I went ahead and stamped it directly on my project. If you've been watching my videos or you have been following me on Instagram, you've seen a lot of this color combination lately. This is E15 and YR27, and I've been kind of obsessed with this color combination lately. Basically, I put down the E15 first, and then I just color over all of it with the YR27, and I don't know, it feels like it makes the brown kind of glow, and you get sort of an orangey brown, which I thought was really cool because the leaf then kind of looks sort of modeled like it might look if it was an actual leaf. Because, you know, leaves are not all one color. They tend to kind of vary, you know, from part to part on the leaf. And so I don't know, I thought it was kind of a good color combination for this. And it makes it sort of glow, which is pretty. But yeah, nothing fancy here. I colored the little, so this Newton's Nook stamp is from the Beautiful Leaves stamp set, and it has these pretty intricate details on the inside. And I just colored those ones in with the darker color first, then went over it with the kind of orangey brown, or orangey yellow brown sort of color. And then that kind of pulled it all together nicely. And I like how, even though I stamped it after the fact, it still looks like it's behind the word. I really like that. Okay, so then I cut a mat with some black cardstock, and then I did the same, slightly larger, with some orange cardstock, just using my Fiskars paper trimmer. And I liked the way that the black kind of made the card pop, and then it makes the color a lot brighter. So I like to do that, matte things with black and then use a bright pop of color. For me, I don't know, it's just pleasing to the eye. I know maybe everyone doesn't feel that way, but I like it. So it gives it a nice crisp border. It looks more finished to me. I don't know. So I'm just using my tape gun from ATG to apply the adhesive there. And that's just like a heavy duty tape runner. It works wonders for me. It saves me a lot of time. Okay, so this piece of cardstock I had wasn't quite right, so I went ahead and trimmed a new piece of white cardstock so that I could have a horizontal card instead of, you know, one that opened from the top and was horizontal rather than a side opening horizontal card. And I used my bone folder to just crease that on the fold there. And then I went ahead and attached my card front to the card base. So this card is, I mean, super simple overall. It doesn't take very long to make, which is awesome. Like I said, you know, if you're in a pinch and you need to make a card quick, this is a great one to have. And the nice thing about this is you could swap out that leaf with anything. You could use a flower, since I seem so desperate to say flower today. You could use a flower, or you could use a heart. You could use just about anything, like a cup of coffee, or an animal, like a little critter. Anything that you have in your stamp collection you could use. It doesn't have to be a leaf, it doesn't have to be Thanksgiving or fall related. You just change out the color, and there you go. So it's a super versatile card design, which is always nice to have in your arsenal, if you will. So then I grabbed some sequins. If you're interested in seeing how I store my sequins, you can check out the video right here up top. But I just grabbed some orange sequins. These guys I actually got from the Dollar Tree, and I think they're gorgeous. You get like a bunch of them, like a ton, for $1, and I like to support the companies, you know, that have sequins, and I will keep buying them, but I mean, you can't beat $1 for some sequins. So I kind of stocked up on some different colors and whatnot, but that is the finished card, and it adds just a little bit of sparkle, which is great. If you have questions or thoughts or suggestions, anything you want to talk to me about, just pop it down in the comment section below. All the supplies are listed for you down there as well. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to give it a big thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this.